I wanted to talk about something that happened a few weeks ago. Um, Nathan, as you know, is in marching band at Nixa High School, and they were getting ready to perform for the last time on the field before they went off to their big national competition. And I'm not really a band person. I played clarinet up through I want to say eighth grade, and then I eventually switched over to choir. So I'm not really like a band guy. I'm there to support my kid. Um, but this performance hit me in a weird way, in a way that had never happened before. They were performing the third act of their show, and it was really powerful. And it struck me that after a year and a half of living through a global pandemic, that these a way that was almost defiant. It was as if they were saying to the pain and tragedy that they've lived through that we're still here and we're making music. And I became a band parent that day. I'm pretty nuts about band now. I'm going to go to all of them. So it was pretty cool to see all of these kids, but also my kid included, defying the pain and hurt and instead choosing joy, choosing to make music. And it was just a moment of unexpected gladness that I had, sitting there at the top of the bleachers in the cold and the dark, watching music being made. Sometimes joy or gladness just kind of sneaks up on us. And sometimes it's for big things, and sometimes it's for little things. But I thought we would start off discussing this morning what's something either big or small or somewhere in between that makes you feel glad. Well, thank you all. This morning, I want to lean into Diana's idea that joy is our connection, both to each other and to God. The third week of Advent is a different color candle. It's pink instead of purple. And I think that does a good job of representing the uniqueness that joy can have and can bring into our lives. And in keeping with my obsession with thinking about how we can live out love, I think we can participate in bringing joy to other people as well, to strengthening those connections with the people around us and sharing the connection that we have with God. So this morning, I want to talk about bringing joy as a means by which we can love the people around us every day. First idea I wanted to play around with is to approach people like God does. There's this idea I've encountered several times that the way we treat other people is really how we view and treat ourselves. That what we see as negative or unwholesome or lacking in other people is often secretly what we find negative or lacking or unwholesome about ourselves. And for many people, that is that we are not good enough. And so we take that out on other people, seeing them in many ways as inadequate or doing the wrong thing or what have you. And I was struck by this verse from Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 7. It says, "Go, eat your bread with joy and drink your wine with a merry heart, for God has already approved what you do." And granted, this is before Jesus came, but it gets to this idea that God, deep down, God loves us. God approves of who we are. And many of us have an easier time accepting the idea that God created us as good, that at our core, God made us in God's image, and that we are ultimately loved and beloved and just who we are supposed to be at our core. Some of us have a hard time with that idea and see us instead as fallen, as lacking, at totally depraved, if you want to use a theological term. And yet, even for those people, we see in Jesus one who has come and made all things right. So whether you view the people around you as ultimately good and loved by God, or as needing ultimate redemption, which has been done, we can view people the way that God does, as loved and with a heart full of reconciliation, because God has made that way with everyone. And we can approach people that same way. One of the practical ways that we can live out this idea of approaching other people the way God does is to let the sun set on past hurts. That we can give people every day, we can give people a fresh start, regardless of the mistakes they've made in the past or how they've hurt us. With reconciliation, with forgiveness, we can start fresh every day. It might take time, it might take many, many sunsets to start new days over and over again, but ultimately relationships can be restored. We've seen that in God and coming into the person of Jesus, and we see that in the way that Jesus lived out his life with the people that he loved. We can approach people like God does, with approval and with reconciliation. Another idea I found, it kind of something that Diana was talking about actually is to shine on purpose. There's this idea in popular culture about, we'll call it resting grumpy face, that some people have resting grumpy face. I'm one of those people that when my face is neutral, I look back, I'm a little bit angry about something, or I'm contemplating the deep mysteries of the universe. Sometimes I'm not. But still, some of us can have that look on our face. And even sometimes when we're really happy, when we're glad, when our hearts are full of joy, I sometimes forget to tell my face or to tell my tone of voice, hey, things are going well, you should share that good news. In Proverbs chapter 15, verse 13, it says, a glad heart makes a cheerful face, but by sorrow of heart, the spirit is crushed. And in reading this verse this time, I thought about this concept in body language called mirroring. And it's when people are connected, they start to mirror each other. They start to sit the same way. They fold their hands the same way. They take drinks of their drinks at the same time. It's really quite amazing. When you start to identify this practice, you can see it all around you, and you can see the people that feel connected with each other. But there's another thought that goes along with this, is you can set the tone in an interaction with other people. So you don't have to necessarily mirror what they're doing. You can bring the joy, or you can bring energy. And this is something that I would like to do more of, is to be physically excited, to set the tone for a positive interaction. When I see my friend, to let my face know, hey, this is a happy moment, and smile at them, to let my voice express my joy in seeing my partner, my pal. We can not just mirror the other person's energy or emotions, but we can bring energy and emotion to a situation to share joy, to create that experience. And so one of the ways we can live this out is to incarnate joy with our body. It can be the tone of voice that we use. It can be with, I'm not here telling you to smile. That's not what I'm doing. But if that strikes you as something that you want to do, if joy would bring a smile to your face, then do that. Maybe it's give hugs or sit close to someone and talk energetically. Whatever it looks like to you, we can intentionally incarnate joy in the way that we use our bodies. We can shine on purpose and potentially have the opportunity to change a heart, to share the joy that we've been given. Thirdly, we can focus on blessings. I don't know if you've ever tried to do something new, or maybe to stop something that you didn't want to do in the past, but oftentimes what I find myself doing is sitting on the couch and thinking, I should learn how to play the guitar. And then the next evening, I find myself sitting on the couch thinking, I should really learn how to play the guitar. And then 3 weeks later, I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if I could learn how to play the guitar. Meanwhile, my guitar is just covered in dust, and I'm still sitting on the couch thinking about how great it would be to learn how to play the guitar. Or if I was stronger, if I could do 10 push-ups in a row without passing out, or whatever it is. Oftentimes we focus on what is lacking rather than taking action to fill our life with something that we want to focus on. So maybe just instead of thinking about how much I would like to play the guitar, I would just pick up the guitar and strum a few chords for 5 minutes. And if I strum some chords for 5 minutes, all the time I thought about how nice it would be to play the guitar, I'd be able to play the guitar, like passably anyway. One of the Psalms, chapter 30, verses 11 to 12, it's a celebration. It says, you have turned for me my mourning into dancing. You have loosed my sackcloth and clothed me with gladness, that my glory may sing your praise and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give thanks to you forever. For me, this psalm really resonates with the idea that even in the midst of sadness, of tragedy, we are showered with blessings. Even on the worst day, there are little things that we can be glad about. Maybe it's just the taste of coffee in the morning or the feel of our dog's fur. There are things worthy of celebrating every day. And for me, life is a lot more meaningful when I focus on those little things that bring gladness than all the times I note what's lacking or what I wish wasn't the case. We can focus on our blessings, on the things that make us glad, and in so doing, bring joy to other people. And then we can tell them about it. One of the most practical ways to live out joy, to bring joy to other people, is just to tell them your good news. It doesn't have to be earth-shattering good news like I got a new job or I won the lottery, nothing like that. It can be something like, did you see the sunrise this morning? It was great. It was terrible that I had to be up this morning, but man, those colors were beautiful. Any little thing that brings you joy, tell about it and ask what is good and joyful and glad making in other people's lives. I bet people would like to tell you their good news. We can share good news. We can bring into focus all the blessings and gladness that we have in our life, and in so doing, make other people's lives more joyful as well. We can focus on blessings to become a blessing to others. So these are three just little practical ways that we can bring joy to others in good times and bad. We can let the sun set on past hurts. We can incarnate joy with our bodies, however that looks for you. And we can tell others our good news. One of the Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 22 says, "A joyful heart is good medicine." Man, thinking about the difficulties that we've been through and all the little blessings that accumulate in our lives every day really is good medicine to reflect on the big and small glad tidings that each of us has, and to share that very intentionally with the people around us. It really is good medicine. So may you approach others with approval and reconciliation in your heart. May you embody your joy in ways that make sense for you. May you freely share the good news about your life. And may joy be the energy of our love.